left-hander. Very good. It's a good start from both Mata and Kant. Getting the better exit, and both of them spun simultaneously. Heading into the Camel straight, still going side by side as well. Side by side into the Curva Grande. Are they going to keep it side by side with Iceman? Yuri going for the dive bomb. Can he make it work? He's gone off a bit. And look at that. Oh, right here, right now. Otherwise, the undercut will not work. It's going to be very, very close. Iceman just gets ahead of Kyle there. Mata comes across the line, and he's your VSL Season 6 champion. Hello everybody and welcome along to VSL F1 Season 8. We had our first round last week in Australia and we head to the Shanghai International Circuit for round number 2. It is the Chinese Grand Prix, first used in Formula 1 back in 2004, where we saw Michael Schumacher in fact, took his 91st and final Formula 1 victory ahead of Alonso and Fisichella. So my name is Jess, one of your commentators for this evening. Yes, I said one of your commentators. I am joined by someone for the rest of the season. Most of you know him, but in case you don't, my commentary partner for the rest of this season is Evil Dragon. Evil, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. We're on a circuit which I commentated on very recently and my voice broke. So if these drivers do that, I might cry. This track is beautiful, by the way, as you mentioned. Saw Michael Schumacher's last victory. Sure, Nico Rosberg's first victory. 55 years since Mercedes won their first race. That was in 2012. Fun fact on that one. But yeah, Shanghai, beautiful track, and I can't wait to get going.
Yeah, I can't wait to get going as well. As I said earlier, last week we were at the amazing Australia and we saw Mata took an unlikely victory. It wasn't aimed to be his victory at one point because he spun in lap 1, but he persevered. There was carnage happening in front of him and he was on the right strategy and that took the victory. So we'll go through the standings quickly before we go into qualifying. So Mata won the race, so he's on top of the championship. We've had Tony, one of the Tonys, Tony 7765 is in second. We've got Timo, who was our reserve, finished a very good third place. Slenderman finished in 4th. Then we had Lee in 5th, Kieran in 6th, Mike finished in 7th, Sam finished in 8th, and Sheldon, one of our other reserves, finished in 9th, and Casper in 10th. Everybody else either did not turn up or failed to score, so they're all on 0 points. So, without further ado, it is quali time. 17 drivers make our presence here tonight. A few returning drivers that weren't here last week, the likes of Ryan Berry and the likes of Matt Ryan as well. Apart from that, most people who were here last week as well. And it's a track that, Evil, it's very, very hard with the soft tyres especially. You don't want to be on the soft tyres for that long. So don't be surprised to see everybody, well, most people, on the mediums for their banker laps so they don't use too much softs in quali.
Yeah, indeed, we see a few people already on the softs, but as you alluded to, soft tyres, normally around about lap 7 I'd be pitting. They can do a little longer than that. I once had a legend that I told one of my friends to do 9 laps and their tyre blew up on the second last lap of the race whilst they was leading. I was then murdered. So don't do 9 laps. 7 laps good, but we've got our first few people on a flying lap, one of which, as there's a McLaren of Risky deciding to do some grass cutting on the inside. That is Mike as he comes through turn 1, 2 into 3. And now for Terry, looking very nice and snazzy. We've got another car doing some ziggy-zags up the road. That is the Red Bull, who's going to get nice out of the way to the right time there as well. As you come into turn 7, 8, and 9, I believe this is. Now, these corners, Jess, absolutely phenomenal in the dry. In the wet, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It kind of snaps you in the way as well. I've driven in China in the wet as well, and it's an absolute nightmare as well because of the understeering nature. And Mike has invalidated, I think, I'm trying to remember what turn it is, turn 10. Now I got the wrong track map. I'm an absolute, oh, you know, it is the right track map. Okay, yeah, it is turn 10. Getting my corner fixed up. But as you go past turn 13, that's where the understeering nature takes part as well. And The drivers have obviously got to be on their A game. I'm trying to find someone who is on a lap. Right now, we've got George in the house. He's on the means right now, but we'll still go on board with him anyway because he's not invalidated. You're going to be heading towards this hairpin coming up and then towards turn, turn 14 and 15. And then you're going to be heading towards the straight very, very soon as well. We see a few overtakes coming towards that final corner. There's a little bit of a snap in the final corner he goes, but it is a benchmark time, a banker lap time. He will provide some more pace. It is a 1:34.5, and there's some times on the ball from Casper, who is a few times quicker than George, a 1:32.1. Now, I've just looked at the chat, Evil. We are going to have some interesting weather conditions in the race. It's starting off dry, then it gets wet, and then it gets dry again. So good luck to all the drivers that are racing tonight.
Excellent. My first commentary, and immediately we've got changeable conditions on the horizon. That's always good fun to see. So, depends on how quickly it comes. I would not be surprised to see a few people here go on a set of mediums. We've got someone off at the last corner in the wall there. That looks like, is that Lee? He's gone off. Is that the AlphaTauri? Yeah, it is Lee, last corner. Has he hit the wall, though? Is the question. I don't
He's backed off.
He's backed off. He was pointing in the wrong direction. I think he's got away with that. I don't see any damage, of course, which is very fortunate indeed. But spinning out the last corner, we've got Risky, I believe, going out the way. Well, that's his teammate, Knighton, who is slowing down at turn 1 and 2. So a few people all having some issues around here. There's another one on the inside of the track. It's like they don't like the circuit chairs, I don't think. They're all running away from it.
They are as well. I think once the calendar was announced, Evil, they were a bit disappointed that China was on there, but at least it gets out of the way. I just saw Ryan Berry that has spun just before turn 13, so another casualty of the turn 13 corner. I do remember on the game at the start of the game cycle when I did a 50% race, turn 13 can bite you even more before obviously the performance patch came. Luckily, it's less deadly now, but one race I did commentate at the start of the game cycle, we just saw loads of people spinning left, right and centre for the first few laps. It was absolutely crazy, but luckily damage was off at the time because obviously it was a test race. So no one's able to improve on Casper's time right now, but we got people on laps from the back. We've got Deck, Acorn 95 in the Mercedes. Don't forget he won the Constructors title with Mata last season. Not doing too well in the Constructors. Well, they are doing well in the Constructors this season with Mata, joint first with Alfa Romeo, but Deck didn't score many points compared to his teammate. He's got to thank his teammate for that one. He's getting a nice toe, actually, from Mike. I don't think it was intentional from Mike, but I think the dirty air, I think, plays a more prominent factor around here, so it's not too much slipstream he's going to get. Talked about the DRS zone, which he's going through now as well. I think that's where we're going to see the majority of the overtaking tonight, at least at the start and at the end of the race. Not at the middle, because DRS will more than likely be disabled. I've commentated on a race before where the rain appeared for like 5 minutes and then went dry again, so it can be unpredictable. Oh, Jack invalidated in the final corner, and it would have been a 1:34.8, so it would have put him P11 behind his teammate. So, but yeah, he still had more time to go on a lap as well, and we've got Cliffy who's just about to start one as well. Well, it seems to me more people are starting to struggle getting their second laps in, Evil.
I'll tell you who's not struggling. It's Casper, who I was riding on board with. Goes P1, purple sector 1, purple sector 2, and guess what? There was a purple sector 3. That's how you get a purple lap time, by that logic. I'll tell you who is also going off the road. It's Mike off the road. So a few people, they seem to be struggling. We've got Flexi on a in-lap right now. We've got Knighton on a lap time, but I believe that's also a in-lap. We've got N8 on a beginning of a lap, he just said. We've got Tony on a lap on the super soft. So let's having a little look, see who's coming through the middle.
Oh, Tony's invalidated.
It's not Tony who's on a lap time anymore then, so there's that one gone. I'm right on board right now. I'm on board with N8, who's currently coming through turn number 6 into 7, 8 and 9, I believe it is. Well, I was thinking it is that, so I'm going to say it is. But N8, the Red Bull is looking pretty stable right now. He has not yet set lap time. He is on that yellow-walled medium tyre, so he is presumably going to try and go all the way until it rains, depending on when that comes. because it's going to be an interesting strategy. We've got the top 3 on soft. We've got Luke currently coming out on outlap. He's on soft. It seems everyone else right now on a set of mediums. So it's a gamble for the leaders. Depends on how quickly it rains.
Yes, they're going to hope that since the softs only last 7 laps, as you alluded to earlier at the beginning of the broadcast, they hope the rain is going to come very soon. According to the chat, it's going to take, I think, 10 minutes into the race as well. So it's going to be cutting it fine between whether you want to go on the softs or pretty much keep sort of staying on the softs until the rain comes. So Ahmed is up to the line. It's a 1:33.4. That is a decent lap time on the mediums, actually. P7, the fastest lap time on the mediums is Speed 19. Pete in 4th position. So it's a good lap times on the mediums already. Here comes Newgarden, the other speed compatriot coming towards the line now. Luckily, he doesn't invalidate in the last corner, but it wasn't a good lap. But at least he's got a lap time on the board, which is better than none at all as well. Ryan Berry has backed off, so he's not going to improve. J-Luke is on a lap as well. I didn't see if it was purple in the middle sector or not, but he's a few temps up, so looking quite good at the moment. I assume, obviously, he wants to go quicker than a 1:33. He needs to burn about 2 seconds to get pole, but it is about a second between each tyre, so it can be done. If he gets the lap right, it's looking good. It is looking very good. It is pole position, Evil.
Yeah, pole position by what? Is that 14 thousandths of a second? I think I've just noticed my controller's decided to go and do beeping when the DRS closes an opening. I never noticed it did that until then. It just made me jump. Everything else is muted, and then I just keep hearing a beeping sound. And I'm wondering what it is. I think it's my controller. Let's see. Right,
yeah, it is your controller, Evil.
It is. Let me go and figure out where the button is to turn it off.
Well, whilst you do that, we've got Ryan Berry up to the line now with a 1:32.9. That is an incredible lap on the memes as well. Imagine what you'll be like on the softs. This is a man who I think could get a challenge for pole, but I won't be surprised if we go into the low 1:31s, maybe 1:30 potentially as well. Tony P, there's 2 Tonys, by the way. I'm sure Evil's going to get as confused as I am that there's 2 Tonys, but, you know, the Alpine drivers, they remained unchanged from last season, score consistently well in the Constructors' Championship, and are looking quite good in this championship as well. Tony's backed off, so he'll probably go again. Everyone's going out for one final run as well. Now, there was quite a few other moments that happened in China as well. Remember Lewis Hamilton, unfortunate DNF in 2007. We all remember that, and I think it came to a point where that was the race that kind of decided his championship for him. If he didn't DNF, he probably would have won the title in 2007 as well. And Ferrari has had the most podium finishes here with 13. How the Ferrari's doing at the moment, they're currently sitting in P2 and P7, so Casper will look to add another podium finish for Ferrari. And you probably are thinking, why is he on 5 lap all tyres? That is his normal strategy, going on long on the softs at the start. I do not know why, but let's hope he doesn't use it in the race sometime. I think he only has a few softs to use because he started on medium, so he should be fine. But expect him just to go for a little bit longer. Tony goes up to the line now. 1:33.3 for the Alpine car, puts him into 9th place. Evil.
Yeah, we got a big off there, and that is Lee. He's somehow managed to hit that one, and that is turn 8 and 9. So he's dropped it early, managed to hit the wall. That's done damage to the right end plate, so that's gone off. So luckily that didn't DNF the car though. That was a very big shunt indeed. So one lucky puppy for him. We've got a few people popping up yellow flags right now. Ryan is just done his lap time right now. He's invalidated currently, so he's backed off of lap. We've got Newgarden starting a lap time, whilst his teammate, meanwhile, ironically, has just spun up the road in front of him. So hopefully that doesn't cause any issues between the 2 McLaren pairings. But Aiton, here he comes. You'll see his teammate there on the inside, which slightly impedes him right there, but he managed to get away. First sector, 5 temps up as he breaks down there into second gear. It is a purple first sector as well. Ryan pulls out to the right and lets the McLaren go through then. So, flat through here, slight lift, 7th gear. Back it down then into 5th, into the right handle, and down into 4th. Into the next corner, he chooses 3rd gear through here. Build the revs up, back to 4th. Up to 5th. Into 6th. Up to 7th. You ponder about 8th, and then back down into 3rd gear. Then chuck it into the left. Then into the very tricky right, where I always used to think the grandstand was going to be there. It's just an advertising board. So maybe there might be a grandstand there one day. But down they come, then into the 1 kilometre long straight we are. And let's see, what is Knighton doing? Well, he's currently doing 198 miles an hour. 199, well, he touched 200. Briefly, down on the brakes, into 2nd gear. Slightly wayward there as well. Rear end slightly steps out on the exit. Takes a shallow line. This could be, I think, 2nd position if he gets this done. To the line then, DRS wide open. Is it 2nd? It is not 2nd, it is 1st.
That was quite decent, actually. Looks very, very comfortable so far. And people on their final laps now, well, quite a few people on their out laps as well. So they got to get a move on. I think that'll be Pete's last lap unless he wants to go again, because I think it's going to be tough for him to go into the pits in time as well. We've got an AlphaTauri that's probably going into the pits. That is Mike, who will probably come into the pits. Yes, he does. But we got the Mercedes of Deck just going towards the hairpin now as well. Can't see the last out of all the 17 runners at the moment. So he's got a lot of time to find, especially him being on the medium tyres. He thinks the rain is going to come even later in the race. 132.9, P5, pretty good. Not that far clear of Ryanberry actually, so both of them showing similar lap times compared to each other as well. J. Luke's just starting his final lap on the soft tyres. He's got Deck in front of him. Let's hope Deck moves out the way, which he does. And Tony up to the line as well. He's just started his lap. I'm surprised he hasn't set one here, because looking at the time trial times, he, in the Williams, he is one of the fastest drivers in this league around China. So I'm surprised he's down in 17th at the moment. Maybe he's sandbagging and not showing his true pace, or maybe he's just waiting until the last minute to set a blistering lap time. But I don't think he can set 131s on the medians, but prove us wrong, Tony. You never know.
Of course, it's a hard one. I tell you who is going quite fast in the second. That is N8, who is currently purple in the 2nd sector. So this could be a good lap time for the Red Bull driver then. Let's see, down the straight, builds up all those revs like we said. Let's see what his top speed is. Does he hit 200 miles an hour like his compatriot as well? Yes, he does. Just briefly touches it. So he's slightly slower in a straight line than Knighton. But let's see, gets a little bit more of a better exit through here. So let's see, through the last couple of corners, can he put it on pole position in the Red Bull? The answer to that is, I don't think so, but he'll put it P4 then. So he puts it on the 2nd row, right alongside Casper so far, as J. Luke goes even faster and sets a 1:31.2, blitzing everyone by a few tenths of a second, nearly 4 tenths quicker than Knighton. And I don't think Knighton's going to be coming back out again, but Casper going even quicker.
Yeah, Casper, who was very, very unlucky last week, and he was very unfortunate to have a bit of commentator's curses last week for me. But I'm determined not to curse him this week, as I think the Ferrari gave him a little bit of the toe, his teammate there, of Flexi. And yes, Pete is not going again, he is in the pits. Meanwhile, his teammate is about to start his out lap, Risky. Everyone's now going to be starting. The first person to finish off a lap will be the 2 Ferraris, one of which will be Casper. So let's follow him on a lap, and then it will be the Red Bull, or if I think it's either Ahmed or Newgarden. I'll need to double check which it is, but there's a lot of traffic going towards turn 11, 12 and 13, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, there is certainly a lot, as you said. It's a lot of people bunching up, but yeah, Casper, he looks like he could get himself back pole. He was purple. I tell you who else is also purple. Lee was purple as well. Casper, that's not going to be purple anymore, sunshine. Hold it. And, well, I tell you it's not going to be purple, Jess, because he's in the wall. Oh, dear. And Lee's also off, who I said was purple. What have I done? Oh, dear. Well, there's 2.
Well, 2-0 for you. Well, at least I haven't cursed anyone yet. Slenderman up to the line. Oh, he's got to be careful with the stroke of Ferrari. P5. That is amazing medium lap from him. And then we've got Mercedes came across the line. P7, 8 for them. We got a Aston Martin in the pits. Then we've got Williams' car of Tony. He's gone out again. So we'll see if he can improve on his best medium time. He is in 9th position, so good job on that. Not the fastest medium time, though. I'm sure there's more time to be found. Ryan Berry up to the line. He's 11 for now, but I'm sure there's more time left in him. 1:31.8, P11. That is ideal on the honest strategy, but we know the changeable conditions could play a massive factor. Matt Ryan in the Williams as well. I think he's going to be the final person to set a lap, as well as Risky and Newgard. Risky won't set a final lap. He's retired in the pits. No, he actually binned it. There we go. As Matt Ryan in P11. So that is it then, Eva, for qualifying. And J-Luke set his lap time early on to the final stint of the session. He chose to come out when the track was clearest, and that paid off for him. P1 for the Chinese Grand Prix.
Yeah, I certainly did, Len. A beautiful lap time as well, nearly over 4 tenths quicker than his nearest rival, which really shows how good he could have, how good he was. I tell you what, I feel sorry for Casper right now. He was 3 tenths purple coming into the last corner, and then the car decided it does not want to go in a straight line. Spun around into the wall, as well as Lee, who was also purple, but he was purple by 7 seconds. So I'm not quite sure how purple he actually would have been, but nonetheless, it is J-Luke on pole, and it's going to be a lot of questions of seeing what Casper's true pace is going to be, Jess.
Yeah, it is as well. Imagine what he could have been if he didn't bin it. So here we go. We'll go through your qualifying results now. We got J-Luke, we got Speed Knighton in 2nd, Casper in 3rd, Ahmed in 4th, Slenderman in 5th, George with a good qualifying in 6th, Mike in 7th, Matto last week's race winner in 8th. Surely he needs a better race, preferably one that went well his way last week. Tony in 9th, Deck in 10th. Then we got Matt Ryan, Ryan Berry, Flexi, Tony P, Speed Risky, Newgarden, and Lee. Lee has been the only driver not to set a representative lap time. Everyone else managed to set a lap time quite close to everybody else. And now we're going to be getting to the race. Now, the top 10 will have to start on the tyres they qualified on. For most people, it is the soft tyres. Like I said earlier, it's around about 1.1, 1.2 seconds slower than the mediums, but they could die pretty quickly around about lap 4, lap 5 as a crossover period between the softs and the mediums. But since we know the rain is coming, they'll have to get used to the softs just a little bit longer, and the ones on the mediums can really come into play as well. You wouldn't want to be touching the hards in these changeable condition races, because even though it lasts 21 laps, with the rain coming in the middle, you just want to leave it alone if I were you. And the hards are an absolute nightmare to drive around this circuit anyway. But a few people out of position. I was obviously expecting Mata to be a bit higher as well. Lee was looking very well during qualifying earlier, but he just made far too many mistakes, and surely he has some race pace for him. He just got to find his consistency.
Yeah, he's got to find some form of pace there. He was going quick, like I said, and then dropped it. So there's another question mark. What pace has he got? I tell you what he will have, though, is a nice view of turn 1 from everyone ahead of him. So he has to keep it nice and smooth. So this track, there's always opportunities at turn 1 for carnage, contact, and drama. It is very tightening, of course, around Shanghai turn 1, then tightens into turn 2, which then again tightens even more into turn 3. It's a never-ending complex until you get the back on the throttle into turn 4 and then into the hairpin of 5. So we could see a lot of jockeying for position around there. It can be possible to hold it around the outside there later in the race as well, but it all depends on the heavens above. And right now, nice and cloudy conditions, though I would say nice sunny sign would be a little not convenient, but the rain always is a possibility. It is a possibility because it is going to rain. So that's going to be something to look forward to. We believe that at least 10 minutes into the race, so that would say around about lap 7 or 6. So these soft drivers on those tyres are going to have to be very conservative on how hard they push.
They do as well. Maybe they just want to take it cautiously on the first few laps, but you want to gain as many positions as you can before the wet period comes, because you will have pit onto some inters. And we've got to keep an eye on some double stacking as well, because double stacking is going to be inevitable unless someone, maybe a teammate, decides to pit a lap before you. Sometimes the gamble could pay off around this track, sometimes it could not as well. So you've got to be aware of the surroundings as well, because there's sometimes when the rain takes a long time to settle on the track, and there's certain times, I'm trying to remember what race I did where the rain just came very quickly. I think it was Japan one year that I raced in. It just came ever so quickly and we were just not expecting it. So with the weather set to approximate, anything can happen in Formula 1. We have talked about the drivers' standings. We will talk about the constructors' standings at the moment. I briefly touched about it earlier, but with Massa's win, Mercedes are on top in the Constructors' Championship, joint top in the Constructors, with Alfa Romeo both on 25 points. Third and fourth place, both on 20 points, is Williams and AlphaTauri. Then we got 5th, Aston Martin on 18 points. 6th is Ferrari on 11. 7th is Haas with 6. And then we got McLaren, Alpine and Red Bull yet to score. And then before we head to the race, let's have a brief mention of our sponsor then, which is Rogue Energy. You can use the code VSLF1LEAVE for 10% off by going onto their website, rogueenergy.com. Don't use the code from last season because it just doesn't work. We got a new affiliate code this season, so use that code. You can get 10% off Rogue Energy products. And just like that, Evil, we're going into the race, and we got a mixed bag. Obviously, Slenderman qualified on the mediums, but the thing I'm seeing right now, if I just get to my screen quite quickly, it is already raining.
Starting a spit. Now that does put a spanner in the works. So we said it could be up to 10 minutes before a race. Well, it's 0 minutes. Matt, the question is, Jess, and I've seen it before. It might say it's raining now, but how heavy is it going to come down? It looks like a light drizzle. Very light drizzle. Now, these drivers, it could be a while before it rains. I remember a race at Spa where it just rained and rained. It didn't become inters until about the last lap, and then everyone was on the slicks and issues happened. But hopefully that doesn't happen here today. But we are going to be in for some very potential slippy conditions. And I'm wondering if anyone has realised this and has gone, what have I done? I should have chucked on a set of intermediates at the beginning, but it would seem that everyone is comfortable with what they've got.
Yes, I think the drivers weren't expecting the rain to come this soon. So if they were expecting it to come this soon, they would have put on a set of the soft tyres, because it won't let you go on the intermediates. I had tried that one time around Hungary where it was raining on a dry track. And it just won't let me select inters at all. It was very, very weird. And it was like that for the whole session. And I've commentated around Hungary like that before as well. So we could see something similar as well. But Slenderman and everyone from P8 downwards, Matter also chose the medium, same with Tony and Deck. They're going to have some target on their hands, and people outside the top 10 will. People on the soft will have an advantage. J-Luke, I think, has got to get away well. But turn 1 Evil is going to be very, very slippery in these conditions. I wouldn't want to be where they are right now. I'm guessing they'll take it a bit more cautious than usual as they all head towards the final corner. I predicted who I want to win last week, and they binned it, so I'm not going to say too much here. We're not going to say. I'll let you guys predict in the chat who you think's going to win. Panos is not here tonight, by the way. He can't make it. Some of you were wondering in the chat, by the way. And since, Evil, it's your first VSL broadcast with us, I'm going to let you do the start for now and the rest of the season. So, Evil, over to you.
Thank you very much, Len. We're waiting for the last cart to get on the grid. The AlphaTauri, we've got the Red Bull as well. The rain is falling. It could be one very spicy first couple of laps. The grid is set, and in just a few seconds' time, we'll get this race underway. The 4, the 5, and when they're off, it is most certainly go. And it's a good start, looks like, from Casper there in the middle of the pack. But I think everyone's got away cleanly down towards turn number 1. It is J-Luke leads from Knighton. Casper third. And there's all kinds of bunching up in the midfield. But I think, Jess, no, got all the way clean is Casper. And there's utter carnage in the midfield. They're scattering like flies. And there is carnage. I said Casper got off the line correctly. He very much didn't get off the line correctly, because that is a shocking start. And what on earth happened to him? Did he get collected somewhere? I did not see it, but he's now plumb dead last. And they're all still bunching up. But J-Luke now leads this race from Knighton. N8 in third position, ahead of George, Tony, then Mike. But look at the rain. It's starting to come down bit by bit. And it's just going to be one of those moments, Jess, is they're all snapping away is who's going to jump on those intermediates.
Yeah, it could happen any time, and J-Luke really needed that start, didn't he? He's almost out of DRS of speed 9 as well. He's already got that 1 second gap to him, which is pretty good. Ahmed had a good start as well, and we got Risky and Mata going side by side into the hairpin as well. It's very hard in these wet conditions to try and do it. It's on the cusp of being wet as well. Risky almost could get the switch back as well. They're trying to leave as much space as they can as well, but Mata is thinking, no, you're not getting past Sunshine. There's more moves happening at the front as well. We got Tony and George going side by side into the hairpin as well. Ryan Berry and Mike. I think Risky has been outdone by Mata there. Mata regains 9th, and Risky's about to lose another position as Sam gets past him as well, up into 10th position. So, biggest losers, Casper down 14. Slenderman had a shocking start as well, down 8. Deck down 2, and Mata down 1. Everybody else has either gained or stay where they are, which is good news to see. And you can see that the top 2, they're just having their own little race at the moment. They're just a class of their own for the rest of the field. J-Luke and Pete, they're doing a stellar job to keep the rest of them behind. And they're about, even though Pete's out of DRS to J-Luke, Pete has cleared the gap to Ahmed behind. As Slenderman does get past Deck as unfortunately disconnected. Let's hope he can join back very, very soon. But yeah, crucially, the top 2 are breaking away for the rest of the field.
Jess, who is very flustered. I think Casper might have some damage here on the front of that car. He down the straight, he got very close to the side of Lee. He tried to pull alongside them. Lee was also trying to overtake Newgarden, and they all just kind of met in the middle there. And I would not be surprised that Casper has got a little bit of frustration at the beginning of this race. I'm not sure what happened. I'm sure we'll find out later on, but he definitely was not pointing the right way into turn number 3 because he had to do a big spin. I'll tell you what, meanwhile, there is an overtake. That's Ryan and George battling. Is George going to think about going back up the inside? The gap is open there. He didn't want to take it there, Ryan. He gave the option, but of course has the power on the exit as well to get himself back on the way. But look at the just spray starting to come off the tyres. At least for me, I can see some spray, but we know what my game seems to be like half the time these days. It shows things it shouldn't do. But Casper starting to come through the field ever so slowly now. He's now up to 16, chasing down Newgarden for 15 and Elise. So that is Acorn, who is, of course, disconnected. He is at now last position. Top 2 stay as they are, but streaking away from 3rd position, N8, who is coming under a little bit of pressure. He's not pulling away too far from Tony and Ryan, and that just shows these medium tyres already starting to get up to temperature.
They are as well, so we have seen Ahmed being very unlucky in terms of his performance last season, and with this being the 2nd season of this game cycle, he's found a little bit more time to practice, and he wanted to get better and do a lot better than the previous races. We got a yellow flag. That is the AI. No, he's back. He is back, I think. I'm sure he's back. I'm not entirely sure. He must have got back very quickly. As we got side-by-side action between Ryan, Mata, and we got Flexi as well. Oh my God, there's so much battling happening in this midfield as well, as Mike has been under pressure from Risky as well. But let's watch. I think Mata has become a proper against Flexi as well. Don't forget 2 geometry contenders from last season side by side. We want them to chuck them up the inside. It will be hard to tell as well. But Matt Ryan has been tagged in all this, and the Haas car as George as well. So George has dropped down to 8 as well. You can hardly see these cars, and there's a few people actually going into the pits. Risky's one of them. So is Mike. Will Casper follow him in? Yes, he will. And there's yellow flags as well. The conditions are getting very tricky side by side into turn 1. Sam gets past Matt Ryan up to 6, so he's doing a good job so far. George could lose P8 here. Mata, wow, what a send for turn 3 and 4. That was crazy. He's doing well on these conditions as well. And with the tyres being almost punch territory and the tyres overheating, well, it's going to be hard to see. Well, Risky, I don't think was meant to go onto the hard. Cass has gone on the wets, which I was not expecting. But Mike and Deck are on the inters. Now, if Deck's an AI, that could suggest... and last week's race winner is out the race.
this is near nigh unbelievable, Jess, right now. There is your first disconnect. This is one of those moments where anything can happen, and it is absolutely bucketing it down. Everyone's going to be in the pits at the end of this lap. The DRS has, I believe, been disabled. You can just see running on board of the drivers the amount of drop that's on the circuit, and
Safety
now
car.
the full force safety car deploy. That was a late call there for that. Normally they would have deployed that very quickly. So all of these drivers here, they are all very lucky, because that could have been, if that safety car didn't come out, these drivers would have most certainly been behind everyone. Now, they're all going to come in the pit lane, surely. It would be surprising if they don't. Top guys are going to come in. Are we going to see anyone stay out? I would hazard a guess no, but I say that, and we do see some staying out. I think
no, Tony!
Tony stays out. Is everyone else going to come in? Ryan stays out. It's a mixed bag. A lot of people have come into the pit lane. I think pretty much everyone apart from 2 or 3 have come in. Newgarden stays out. And of course, everyone else at the back, they've just come in. Who's got the right strategy here, Jess? It's raining. Well, I don't... But, I say that. We can see visibly the track's getting wetter and wetter. I'm not sure if I've seen DRS disabled, though.
I haven't seen it either as well, but don't forget, it's not going to be wet for the whole race. It's going to be dry towards the end. So maybe they think it's just going to rain for like only 10, 15 minutes or so, and then it's going to be dry again. So maybe some people are risking staying on the dries, but they're probably going to crawl earlier on as well. But I saw that in Portugal where it was the complete opposite. It was wet, and then it went dry for 5 minutes, and then it was wet again. And we thought that someone was on the right strategy, being on the dry tyres. They breezed past everyone. And then the Inters guys breezed past the dry person, and the dry people on the mediums probably regretted it. So I literally don't know who's got the right call at the moment. If it's going to stay like this for a long time, the ones on the Inters have the right call. But I would go in anyway. I would go in anyway, because you'll lose more time by staying out than getting a double stack, in my opinion. I think a few people starting to stay out anyways. We got Pete running very, very wide on those soft tyres. Pete's gone on the soft, so is Ahmed, so that's a completely different strategy. So are they expected to go on the mediums afterwards, or are they going to be going on to Inters? I don't have a clue. I literally don't know what's going to go on, and I love it that we don't know which strategy is right, because it could just dry up any moment.
Got a set of medium tyres, and I'll say he was on the wet. I'm not sure why he went on the wet. Maybe he thought it was going to get a lot heavier than it is, but yeah, no DRS to stable side. Half the field's on the intermediates, half the field's on the slick tyres. They're all going to be staying. Oh no, they're not. Tony has abandoned it, come into the pit lane, and now it's he and they're all of them. Oh, he got past in the wall in the pit lane. Someone's gone straight on, and I'm not sure who that was. Was that Lee in the AlphaTauri? I think went straight on into the wall. That seems ready from somewhere. Are those intermediate tyres I'm seeing going on the cars? It looks like there is intermediates going on, a lot of them. J. Luke staying... Oh, he's teleported out of the pit lane now, so a little bit of lag going on my screen, which is always usual to see. But nonetheless, they are getting back out. Now, most of them on intermediates, apart from Knighton, N8, and the top 2, also Risky and Casper on a set of mediums. So... who do we know who's on what strategy right now? I have no idea who's got the correct strategy. I'm sure you don't. The DRS hasn't been disabled. It looks like it is intermediate. Mike has got a 5-second time penalty for crossing the white line. So he's been a little bit naughty. Though he's only just come... there he's there. Down at turn 1 and 2. He's on a set of mediums as well. So I don't know who's on what strategy and who's on the right strategy right now. We're on lap 6. I can tell you what, right now, it doesn't look like the leaders are seemingly struggling with grip. It's basically, you'll know if they were sliding everywhere, if it's the wrong time.
Well, it is the safety car. They're going slowly, so of course they won't be struggling for grip yet.
When you say that, but even if it becomes intermediate conditions, you'll start seeing if the spray starts coming up, then we've got trouble. As soon as I say that, the spray starts coming off the safety car. So, well, there we are. So, now... what are the leaders going to do? Will they decide now is the opportunity, if the safety car doesn't come in this lap, which, my understanding, it will stay out one more lap, and we've got Mike who's spun. Now, that is big. That does show these dry tyres are struggling, Jess, because he's damaged the front end of the car. Casper is also squirming around. And now, oh dear, for your top 4. If it is now becoming intermediate conditions, which it might certainly look like, it is becoming intermediate because the spray now starting to come off the tyres. Will they come in, or are they going to stay out and prove me wrong? Well, the answer is they're going to stay out, apart from Ryan, who comes in. So he's decided to do it, and so comes NA. He can't stop either. He squirms into the thing, and the safety car's going to stay out longer and longer. And I think if I was riding a Knighton right now, I would be very concerned for what I'm doing. Casper stays out. He thinks it's going to dry up, I presume. But I don't know who's on the right strategy, Jess. It's concerning me because everyone's going to be on a strategy, and someone's going to got it right. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them have got it right.
5.
Yep, 5. Knighton spun.
Oh, no,
Knighton
it's not Knighton. It's not Knighton. It's risky.
It's risky. My apologies. The other McLaren has spun, and that is just proving my point. And off now as well is Acorn, as he's
yeah, he's been having connection issues all through the night. Evo has the other McLaren spun, and he's out the race. He's out of the race, and I think that just shows that you do not want to be on the soft tyres right now, or any of the slick tyres, and that's pretty much decided everyone's race. The spray is coming out. I'm riding on board. The spray's coming on the safety car and the tyres. So Ryan Berry, I think, will have to follow the safety car in. Same with Casper. So the ones that are on the right strategy for now are the ones on the intermediate tyres. So technically, Sam Flexi is your net race leader with Tony B in P2, because if Ryan Berry's going to stay out, he will have to be. He's going to be crawling. He's going to get swamped and everything. That's just not going to be good. Casper is going to drop risk. He's going to drop as well, and we're already seeing, Pete's luck going from bad to worse already this season. He's had 2 DNFs in a row, which is a bit of a shame. He spun a lot last season as well, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully next week he'll have a better race. He's had some great races last season. The pace is there. He just gets involved in incidents quite a bit. But he was looking quite good at the start of the race. I think if it wasn't changeable conditions like this, I think it would have been much better for him. So Ryan Berry, I wouldn't want to be in Ryan Berry's shoes right now at the moment, because he's going to have a tough job trying to get the car pretty much holding people up until the start-finish straight and get the car stopped into turn 1, the heavy braking zone. So we'll see what he does heading towards the last corner. He doesn't seem to be struggling that much, but you can see the speed, the traction. Flexi's already got that straight line speed into turn 1 already. You can see that the intermediate tyres are already trying to get past the medium runners already. So Flexi up to P1 right now. Tony is going to try and get past his teammate, but he's also under pressure from Slenderman as well, who scored well last week in the Alfa Romeo. Heading towards turn 4, couldn't quite get the move that they wanted to as well. Tony B then, surely he wanted to get past Ryan Berry sooner or later. He does have to head towards turn 6. Oh, this is not good for Ryan Berry at all. He's not losing more positions than we think, actually. He's doing a decent job. Oh my goodness, it's 3 wide heading towards turn 7, 8 and 9. And Slenderman is up into P2 even. What a move.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tony is going to be absolutely livid with his teammate right there. He kind of... It wasn't Ryan's fault. He just couldn't get the car stopped. He's on those slick tyres. Oh, there! And there is the other Tony. And it's a Tony disaster there for Ryan. He's hindered his Tony teammate, and the other Tony's now run into him. So it's gone from bad to worse for the Tony team right there. But I tell you what, Ryan has absolutely got no grip out there. It's like he's skating around on an ice skating ring right now with he hasn't got any shoes on whatsoever. There's no grip. He's on the floor, and he's probably hoping for the life of everyone that it suddenly dries out right now. But I tell you what, the DRS has not been deactivated. So, I mean, it might say it's intermediate conditions for the drivers, but it's kind of in between here.
Because staying out.
Yeah, he's staying out. He thinks it's going to dry out. And Lee's in the pit. Oh, Lee's actually gone off the road, actually, I think. Actually, he's battling with someone. Ugon is going slowly down the straight. I wonder if that was him. Casper is also coming through. He's on the set of medium tires. I'm not sure, Jess, if it's slowing down raining or it's speeding up. It looks like it's got slightly lighter. In fact, yeah, it does. It is getting lighter now. So, is it that little thing you mentioned earlier where it just kind of sits on the bubble, like I also alluded to, where it's wet enough for the inters, but it's dry enough for the slicks? It's literally on that bubble. We've seen a few people struggling earlier on, as I mentioned about Risky spinning and Knighton spinning. I said Knighton spun, but it was Risky spun, and then Knighton spun immediately thereafter into the wall. So I suppose I'd gotten both correct in one force or the other. But it definitely looks Ryan's coming back at this, you know. He's got more grip all of a sudden.
Yeah, he has as well. You can see there's less water on the track. I think I would say set to 1 is where there's less water. Set to 3, you can see there's still quite damp and still quite slippery, so that's why they're probably going to struggle a bit more. But yeah, Ryan Berry is suddenly a lot faster all of a sudden. Here he goes then. He's passed one after Martin and J-Lu, and surely he's going to go past his teammate. Surely his teammate will have to return the favour anytime soon. Look at the extra grip he's having. It's stopped. I think it stopped raining.
It's completely dry.
It's completely dry at the moment, so that's why Ryan Berry has stayed out. Otherwise, he would have gone on inters. That is a very good call from the Alpine, but I don't know if those mediums are going to get to the end, so you all have to go on softs at the end. As Matt Ryan and Amid are having a battle in the hairpin as well, as Tony's gone off, almost went off again, as DRS is enabled then, and it's dry. It's dry, no rain, the track is less slippery. So everybody apart from, well, Risky staying out because he's on the hards. I would have to say the person that's on the best strategy out of anybody that could get to the end is Risky. Even though he's spun quite a few times, he's the favourite to win this race. Casper...
He can get to the end from here, 4 laps, and he'll be stretching it.
That is true.
Another, 18 laps to go. They'll be on, 22-lap-old tyres. I've seen it before, you know. They can do about 24 laps before they decide to really start screaming. One stop's possible here. It's not ideal, but depends on, of course, we've been under the safety car. These drivers aren't going to be pushing at full pelt right now because it is still slightly slippery. So that has to come into effect as well, because Casper was under the safety car. This is pretty much the second lap we've seen under full racing conditions. So he might really have an opportunity to get to the end. Ryan will not go to the end on these tyres, on virtue that he's done pretty much the entire race on them. Of course, Risky, he can go to the end. He's on those 5-lap-old hard tyres. They'll make it. Everyone else, of course, they can go to the end. Apart from me, he is on a set of soft tyres that I would have gone on the set of mediums there, so he's hoping for a late safety car or something to occur. So a few people on those mediums, a few on the hards. And I'll tell you what, we've got a little bit of a spicy 18 laps to go in here, Shanghai. If you're sitting comfortably, I'd get your popcorn out because we could see some banging races, especially if anyone can go and catch the leaders.
Yes, indeed, because don't forget Ryan Berry still has to pit, and probably he's struggling on those tyres as well. But even though Lee's on the sauce, he's having a nice battle with George, heading towards the final few corners then as well, giving us something to smile about as well, as Lee does get past George. Very, very spicy indeed. We've got Deck, who is a lap down, so I think Mercedes Knight have gone from bad to worse as George gets past Lee again into turn number 1, heading towards turn 2 and 3 as well. He almost touches a little bit there as well. They're not going to go side by side to turn 4. I have seen people go side by side there for absolutely ages. I did watch a battle that Evil Dragon was commentating on Friday, where it was an absolute stalker. It was 2-3 laps. It was amazing. We could see that tonight. We don't know. I really do hope so, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Casper is catching Ryan Berry at a rate of knots. Risky not so much. We'll keep an eye on Flexi's catching up time to Risky at the moment. Slenderman's catching as well to J.D's catching as well, so it could be tight as well. And it will be the question, will the hards be the more dribble tied towards the end? Will the crossover point mean that the hard tyres will try and catch up? We don't know. There could be a late safety car as far as we know as well. But if you are liking the channel and the content, don't forget to click the subscribe button, turn that red button into a grey button, hit that notification bell if you are new. and hit that like button as Lee does get past George. As George is out of the race, we've got another retirement as he had an awful spin there. I think he must have made contact with someone. Is that going to be a safety car? I don't think it is because it's off the track. But yes, 3 retirements already. 3 of them have been off track as well. No one in the pit lane. And George, what a shame, because his pace last week was looking good. His pace this week was looking good, but again, he just doesn't like China all of a sudden. So yeah, we've got now, I think, 15 drivers in this race, and Tony 7765 is the fastest man on track right now, but can he close in on the leaders? As Ahmed and Matt Ryan are having a nice battle into turn 2 and 3. Can they get the car stopped in time and hold their line a little bit? Ahmed's doing a great job. We've got the 2 Williams fighting as well. I'm sure Yoskabito, the team boss of Williams, are wondering what the hell is going on. Am I allowed to let my cars race? Of course they will. I hope they get to do the same in real life when the season starts in a few days' time. Let us know in the chat if you're looking forward to that one. But that 12 and 28, Ryan Berry's still yet to stop. Casper, your net race leader, Risky and net P2, and Flexi and net P3. Still a long way to go in this race, and I can't wait to see how this action is going to unfold, Evil.
Yeah, I tell you what, Ryan let his teammate through there. Tony gave him a little wiggle dance down the straight there, saying thank you very much, lad, because he can now get a charge on into the back of N8, and he almost went round the outside into turn 7, 8, and 9, which is very easy to do. Well, when I say easy to do, I've seen it a few times. Some other times I've seen it end in tears. So let's see, he'll get DRS low down here. He might not even get the DRS before he overtakes. He's alongside. Now he'll get the DRS to finish the move on. Says thank you very much, Sunshine, and that will be up into that position. Is N8 going to try someone back up the inside? No, he's not. A little lock up for the pair of them into the hairpin for good measure. Lee, meanwhile, he's in 8th position. He's trying to close up to the rest of the pack. Slenderman is closing up to Flexi. So the hard tyres versus the medium battle raging on, but up front it's Casper. 1.2 seconds now to the leader. Closing. 1.1. 1 second. He'll have DRS if he's not too careful. 9 tenths. He now has the fabled DRS and closing the time. Now, from my recollection, it's around about 6 tenths really down this straight where you can potentially get a opportunity into the hairpin. You can get one from 7 tenths, but it is going to be very hard to do. It depends on how much ERS both of the drivers using. Ryan using all of his ERS straight away. So is Casper. And let's see, DRS is active, but I think it's a bit too far back right now. You want to be about 5 tenths right here. And he is definitely not 5 tenths. He is 7 tenths. Could get close enough low down towards turn 1 to have an opportunity. Tony has got himself a 3-second time penalty in the meantime. As in, I say, Ryan has spoiled my fun, Jess. He's not going to get overtaken. He's decided, no, Ivan, I'm going to come in the pits. And you're not going to see that overtake right now. And I'm going to go set a set of, I'm going to guess, medium tyres as we
Ahmed's
have got...
off!
Yeah, Ahmed, who's dropped it. And that is that tricky turn. That's turn 13, I'm going to say.
Yeah, 13, yeah.
And the long right-hander, so he's dropped it there. A set of hard tyres go on Ryan's cars, like he will be going to the end of the race like everyone else will be. And I'm just wondering, can Casper go to the end? We've got 14 laps to go, give or take. Tony has got himself a fast lap of the race as well. As I mean, what? Flexi and Risky going at it up the inside, late braking there from the Ferrari. Slivers up the inside of the McLaren. The McLaren just about holds it there, but he can't get any grip on the exit on those hard tyres. And Flexi goes and gets P2 there, and now he can go chase after the leader, and now, behind them, Slenderman is going to try and slivering up the inside of Risky, though it is a little bit of a risky move, though, in this section to go up the inside. The outside line, a little more convenient. Oh, he's letting him through. Well, never mind then.
I don't think he was challenging that much because he knew when to pick his battles, Evil, with the tyres being so much slower than the mediums, and he probably knows he can pick back up the pace towards the end where the mediums start to die just a little bit more. About 7 tenths slower, the hards are compared to the mediums, so not much, but risky for him. He would rather score points than end up with a DNF or getting P10. So to be honest, he's picking his right battles, but he knows he's going to have the likes of J. Luke pushing because he's on the mediums, Tony P as well, maybe Ryan Berry as well, who's on fresh hards. well, Ryan Berry had no other choice because, well, he started on the medium compound tyre. So his strategy not gone too well, but he's in a good position. He's in P6. Don't forget, in VSL, the top 12 score points. And if you're inside the top 12, you do get the cheeky fastest lap point as well. So, but if you're outside the top 12 and you get the fastest lap, you don't get the fastest lap point. So, more chances for people lower down to just get points every race as well. That could make a difference to where you are in the championship, as Mike picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. And it's brightened up all of a sudden, which means tyre temperatures are going to be an absolute killer with the track getting hotter and hotter right now. So I wonder what these drivers are going to think on the means. We shall see. As all lay on the brakes go Slenderman and Flexi then. They're going side by side, and I think this action is going to go for a long time to come here. Slenderman was a reserve driver last season. He's now full-time the driver this season. He's got a point to prove then in VSL, but he's said to me that he's felt like he's been doing very well, but there's still a lot of pace to find in that Alfa Romeo, and he wants to win a race. That is his main target as well. So we'll see him going down the back straight. He's already gained a few tenths already, as Evil Dragon was alluding to earlier. He's going to slip the left-hand side this time, but Flexi closed the door. So Slenderman's going to try and sneak out the inside, which he does not. Flexi stays in P2. And there's not much difference at the moment, but I can see with Flexi's softer tyres on the mediums and it being so much faster, I'm not really that surprised. But Slenderman's going to have the DRS heading towards turn 1. Flexi is harvesting as well, so that's helping Slenderman a lot, because Slenderman's managing his ERS a lot better as well. But yes, we're approaching the time where we could see a late safety car change things and people could go onto the soft tyres, but we will see. But Flexi holds on to P2 for now. At the moment, it is a Ferrari 1-2. When was the last time we saw that around China? I think towards the beginning of the Chinese Grand Prix ever existed. Not gonna lie, Evil.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I tell you what, right now, this is actually pretty good tactics here from Flexi. He is not pushing, I don't think, at his full potential, because Casper is pulling away. Now, yes, he is under a little bit of attack by Slenderman, but those medium tyres, they should, at this stage, still be a lot faster than those mediums. So, those mediums should be faster than those hards, should I say, there. So, Flexi's not pushing, I don't think, 100%, just trying to give Casper a little bit more of a buffer right now. This is a little bit of tactics play. I think he knows he can keep Slender behind. I'll tell you what, actually, to be fair, it is a Ferrari 1-2-3 by technicality of engines. Then it's the Mercedes 4-5. Then it's both of the Alpines there as well. Are we going to see a potential? Flexi slightly pulls to the inside there, but he's got that one still covered, saving his ERS ever so slightly more as well. That gap now up to 14.4 seconds. And rising all the time. We've now got 12 laps to go here in Shanghai. And let's see if Slenderman got anything. He still hasn't got an opportunity to go up the inside. Can't go around the outside there either. There will be an opportunity potentially up the inside, but again, a little bit too far back, and he's on the wrong type of tyres to try and do that one. J. Luke, 3-second tyre penalty. He's caught up to the back of these guys as well on these 6-lap-old medium tyres. He can go to the end. Risky on 12-lap-old hards. Of course, we will definitely see him go to the end of the race. He's got a Daniel Ricciardo helmet on as well. I'll tell you who is going to be coming in the pit soon. It is the AlphaTauri driver of Lead Jets, who is he's probably not enjoying this strategy. I'll tell you who's not enjoying the strategy. It's the other AlphaTauri who's gone off just the topic of AlphaTauris. You see one AlphaTauri and the other one has to say, I want the action as well.
Exactly. Mike was up there in the top 10 doing quite well, but when the rain came, he was struggling. And when he was on the mediums, he struggled for grip and tyre temperature, so he is down in P13 for now, but he could still get points. He does have a 3-second time penalty as well, so he's going to hope that more people get more. So, but at least he's not last, because P14 is a lap down. So at least Mike is still on the leading lap. As Slenderman, looks like he was going to make a move on Flexi there for the time being, but he did not. That was very, very close as well. Again, interesting tactics between Flexi as well. This is not to Slenderman's liking, not gonna lie, but we're gonna see Slenderman trying for the third time to get the move put into turn 1 on Flexi around the outside, which he does not. Another yellow flag. That is the other Red Bull of Newgarden, who spun it exactly the same place as to what Ahmed did earlier. J-Luke gets past Risky into turn 3 and 4. Lee goes into the pits. So is it going to go on to, I think, he's going to go on to mediums. There's no, or unless...
If he goes and set us off, they will not last.
Mediums, yeah, mediums. I made exactly the same mistake as Tony laps, one of the Tonys laps the Mercedes of Deck. So there he goes as well. So Slenderman still behind Flexi. That's not going to do his tyres any good because of the dirty air. And all of this is helping J-Luke and Risky. Even though they got quite a few penalties, this is helping them catch into this train.
It's in the train, but catching's one thing, passing is another. Yeah, you'll have the DRS, and I tell you what, Slenderman's looking a little more closer this time around than he has been recently, but just on the exit, needs to get this power on Flexi rear end, squirming around. I think he'll have to cover right, Flexi will now, and he'll have to cover very quickly. And we got more yellow flags, and that's all dead. Speed Risky's gone off, and well, we said he was catching, well, he's gone now. Here comes Flex. He's got to go to the inside line. Let's see, can Slenderman deliver on around the outside line? No, he can't. To sit back yet again, still can't do it. In the brakes of the hairpin, he's going to have to try and dummy him at some point. But Risky spun. I don't believe he's got damage. He's same place we've seen so many cars drop at Jess. And turn 13, as predicted, is proving to be one little slippery bugger.
It is. Thank goodness, Evil, we're in the commentary box rather than racing, because probably we would struggle as well. I would probably in the back at China, because I have to say, China is one of my worst tracks on this game. Not my worst track is Baku. I haven't raced Jeddah on this game yet, so I can't judge whether Jeddah is my worst track, because I haven't raced it yet. But China's definitely one of my worst. But these drivers are doing quite well to survive it all, the ones that are still on the track, and even Newgarden is still going, even though he's about 35.7 seconds down the road. He's on the soft tyres, which won't get to the end without any stretch of imagination, so he's going to need a miracle, but he may be just backing out a little bit just to save his tyre wear so far. But we've got another yellow flag. That is Risky once again. As soon as you spin once, E-roll, it's going to be even more addictive because his tyres are still quite hot, so Risky's got to try and cool his tyres, because otherwise he's going to spin even more. But luckily there's no damage for him. Newgarden picked another time penalty. We'll see if Slenderman gets close enough to Flexi. We'll see. He's going to try this time. They're going to go side by side into the hairpin though. Slenderman looks once. He goes to the left-hand side of Flexi then. Again, Flexi covers him off, but Slenderman could have a much more easier time. He does not. He decides to back out a little bit. Surely he could go for the move into turn 1. I don't know why he's not, because J-Luke is almost within DRS of these two. So they got to get a move on. So Slenderman again, attacks. He is the prancing horse. He's attacking all he could into this tight little hairpin turn 2 and 3. But Flexi could stay P2, but heading towards turn 4. Can Slenderman hold his line and get P2 on the outside? They're still going side by side. This is similar to what Evil commentated on a few days ago. This is insane. Heading towards turn 6. Flexi keeps to the left a little bit. They make a bit of contact. This is all allowing J-Luke to be in his train as well. So J-Luke must be loving this fight. But I don't know how Flexi's holding on. But that is giving Casper some breathing space. And I'm sure Flexi will be thanking his teammate a lot, and that's going to jump Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship for sure, but I'm sure this battle's going to go on until the end of this race. Both of them do not have a penalty though, but I think Slenderman's going to come to his own towards the end. Same with J-Luke as well, but it's also now in his train. That's just a disadvantage of just not trying to get past Flexi, so J-Luke's probably going to thank the Flexi and Slenderman as well.
Yeah, tell you what, Jess, that was some great little battling down there. They were very close. Again, Flexi running out with VRS. Is there any opportunity up the inside? No, there's not up the inside. So fine. I mean, what you can say is, around China, is turn 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and all the way up to 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's very easy to go side by side, it turns out.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I was just getting myself a drink because I thought I was going to lose my voice there for the time being. But we do have another yellow flag. I thought I saw another yellow flag, but
yeah, and he's dropped it there. He's that's turn 12. He's dropped it. So he's dropped it into the left, into that little right. So driver's proving very difficult as and now we've got a 3-car scrap for second, third, and fourth. And this is now going to be about who has got the bigger tyre advantage. And I tell you what, I don't know who has right now. Well, I presume it's going to be Slenderman who had the tyre advantage, but not by much. And Casper, now 15.2 seconds. We're coming into a stage of this race where as long as he doesn't drop it, which God forbid we hope he doesn't, he is on good course. He does have the pit delta to stop if there is a safety car as well. Of course, around 10 to 15 seconds is that delta. So he is looking, so far, nice and dandy for that win. He was pointing backwards at turn number 1. He is currently pointing forwards so far up the lead. And Flexi and Slenderman still going to go at it. Let's see yet again with the DRS. Is there going to be an opportunity for Slenderman? Flexi covers the inside, goes right, goes left, goes right. I'll be a little bit annoyed about that. A little bit too much weaving there, potentially, down the straight. So wants to be a little bit careful about that one. Doesn't want to get himself in too much trouble for weaving. But nonetheless, doing a fine job for the Ferraris. All 3 of them so far, ahead of the Aston Martin there in 4th position, who's just sitting behind as well, who has got a 3-second time penalty in. Well, everyone's got a 3-second time penalty, apart from the ones that does not have a time penalty over it, of course. These are all the ones you can see on the screen that doesn't have the penalty symbol.
Yeah, so we got the likes of Casper, Flexi, the top 2 Ferrari cars. Don't have any time penalties. Ryan, Barry and Tony, the 2 Alpines as well, so they could catapult right up the order as well. Meanwhile, we're seeing battles for P2 and 3 and battles for P7 and 8 as we had another spinner of Ahmed again into turn 12 and 13, which again is quite common. Slenderman almost got the job done on Flexi there, but he did not. We did see the 2 Tonys having a little bit of a fight as well, so that could be getting quite tense as Tony 765 got past Speed Risky then. It's up into 7th position, but don't forget time penalties. I think they've got the same. Yeah, they got the same. So that was for track position. Points do matter. No one has got more than 3 seconds for now, which is good news if you're like in the mid train. So you probably will.
He dropped it. Just sorry to cut over you there. Again, this was an opportunity, but Flexi just immediately tries to cover. He's going to have to slightly. I would have gone to the inside, Slenderman. You had the opportunity, my friend. He's gone around the outside. Has he got it on the brakes? He has got it on the brakes, but he's gone slightly too deep. But that's going to allow the Ferrari to come through. But this time, he's got the tracks on the exit. This time, he's got the power. But will he have the DRS to the next corner? No, he doesn't. So now, all of a sudden, it's going to be Slenderman's going to have to cover right here. Otherwise, we're going to see a Ferrari suddenly dip to the right. There we go. That's predictable. And up the inside he goes, but can he get an undercut there back through? He thinks about it, no, he can't do it that time around. Has to just sit back, and this, again, but he gets a bit of a swap one. I think J-Luke just tapped him as well there. So the Aston Martin says, hello, I want to come and battle here. Can I come through? And Slenderman Dreer is definitely saying, no, don't stay back. I want this 2nd position, sunshine, and I don't want to battle for 4th. But all of these drivers now battling together, 15, nearly 16 seconds. As Mr. Ryan and Risky go battling, as the Axel Risky is actually pitted in for a set of soft tyres. They will go to the end of the race for him, which is good to see. But really, only battle going on is that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And currently, Slenderman doing the job so far of staying in 3rd, but he wants 2nd. You can see it in his eyes. The twinkle in his eyes, it's bright, it's shiny. He sees that 2nd position. He wants to go for that 2nd position. But I tell you what, the truck of the Ferrari is going sideways, and it almost went all horribly wrong. It almost turned into a truck lap. And now, DRS, but still, he's got that gap. It'll be an almighty dive from here. I don't think he's going to send it from here. He definitely isn't going to send it from here. He knows right now.
He made contact a little bit. He made contact a bit evil, which could cost him a little bit. That's opened up the space for Jadu to try and attempt to move as well, as we are starting lap 24 of 28. Then Casper still leads by an impressive 16 seconds, but he can't become complacent here as well. Sometimes we've seen people bin it from that point, but Slenderman's right on the back of Flexi. He's just not budging at the moment. Slenderman was ahead of Flexi a moment ago, but he is not now. But he's got a few more laps to do so as well, because you have to worry about J-Luke. Well, you won't be worrying about J-Luke too much because J-Luke has a 3-second time penalty, but what happens if you do get a time penalty? If any of these two get time penalties, Evil, then they're pretty much fighting for position. So I'm actually going to hopefully check the warnings as well. But I think there's quite a few on the cusp of getting at least one penalty as well. But if you've got a gap, like Tony and Ryanberry, for example, then you're probably less likely to get a penalty. Ahmed as well is probably close with the spins. He has had 2. But Slenderman's going to attempt for a move once again then. And keeping nicely to the left-hand side as they make the run towards this DRS straight for the 5th time. Oh, this is great stuff from him. Slenderman, 70%, Flexi, 11. And I think surely Slenderman's going to go for the attack on the left-hand side. So he goes there. He's going to go the long way round then on the outside. And is he going to stay committed to the outside line? Flexes to the inside. He goes to the right. And he may go to the left again in a minute when he goes to the final corner, which he does not. He thinks better of it. Slenderman's up to P2 now. So Slenderman doing a great job. Flexi then, he's going to go for another move again into turn 1. Sure, this means they could go side by side a little bit. Let's hope they don't send each other into a spin. J-Loot is also in this as well. He could go on the inside of Slenderman as well if Slenderman does not get the move. So Flexi's back up into P2. His position is changing left, right and centre. They head towards turn 6. Meanwhile, the 2 Tonys are fighting Evil for P6 and P7. And Tony in the Williams is up into 6th place. But this won't be the last time we see changing positions between the 2 Ferrari-powered engines. And maybe J-Luke as well. So keep an eye on that one, guys.
Flexi lost the rear then so massively. And we got another yellow flag. So that's the Red Bull getting out of the way. I thought for a second Casper had dropped it there. One Ferrari nearly dropped it. How Flexi caught that one, I will never know. He was completely sideways. And Slenderman, is he going to think up the inside? No, he's not going to think up the inside there. He will just wait for the DRS. That's the smart thing to do there. I think Flexi wouldn't have minded it, though. But he catches the curve, and it's just Flexi's got no grip. Look, he's squirming all everywhere right now. And you'll have to go right. You'll have to go right. He's going to have to cover this one, because if he has an opportunity, Slenderman will sniff it. And let's see. He's going to force him again to go left. And now all he's got to do here is brake late. We've got a car off. That might be Newgarden, I think, who's dropped in the last corner. As Leeds guys still battling. They've got an overlap. The mediums slowly going off. And now the inside line. But that's smart play, actually, for Flexi. He lifted off ever so slightly to get Slenderman to go through. Now he'll do is pull to the inside line. Past Newgarden on the right as well. They'll go at it. And again, back up the inside. No! And that is not what he wanted to do. I didn't see that J-Luke was there. I was running on board, and all of a sudden, Flexi's... Well, there's no more flex on that car, and he's got no grip either. And poor old Flexi, he was 3 laps away from 2nd position. But J-Luke has stolen it there by virtue of... I don't think they saw each other.
I don't think so as well, which is... quite hard. J-Lucas just came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it either as well, so maybe Flexi thought that no one was there, but then suddenly J-Luke just breezed past, and then that's what sent to a spin. I don't know, but that was very unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. It was looking like a 1-2 as well, as meanwhile we're having a battle between Flexi and Risky and Matt Ryan for P8, but Risky, I'm looking at his yellow warning light. He's not gonna get to the end of the race if he's not careful, so he's got to save his fuel there. He's got to lift and coast, because otherwise he's gonna get passed by quite a few people. Hopefully he'll have enough to at least hold on to some points, which will be ideal, because I don't think he's got any points this season at all. So he's the one trying to get points for the McLaren outfit due to his teammate retiring earlier on as well. So with the battle that we had earlier, we lost because Flexi spun. We're now having a nice battle with the midfield, but still we've got J-Luke and Slenderman fighting for P2, but Slenderman will get P2 because J-Luke does have a time penalty. You never know, Slenderman could get a time penalty, as we're on lap 27 out of 28. Slenderman stays behind J-Luke for now. For the penultimate lap, Casper still leads 17.3 seconds. So what is Risky and Matt Ryan going to do? This is for position. They both have time penalties, but I wonder if one driver will push each other into a mistake then for the penultimate lap. Final corner then. Risky's going to have the DRS. Matt Ryan will not have the DRS. going at 195 miles per hour through turn 1. You're going to be braking just a little bit, short shift into 4th gear, Risky does. And that's worked well, but you just can't get past. And Deck and Newgard are just having a little bit of a battle in the background, even though Deck's been having connection issues. I think he's back in the lobby. Not entirely sure, but he's not going to get any points. But at least those two are still racing as well, which is great to see. Into turn 6 they go, Matt Ryan and Newgard. And we've got a yellow flag. That is, I think, one of the Red Bulls letting someone else through. Yes, it is. That is Newgard and let one of the Apataris through. So, good to see as well. So, final lap of this race. Casper will cost the final time, but here comes Slenderman on J-Loot then. Slenderman gets the place back. Surely he didn't need to do that. I don't think he needed to risk that because J-Loot has a time penalty, but I was talking earlier, Evil, that he could get one, so he probably had to get the move done there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it, Jess. I mean, Casper right now up front's doing well. Slenderman, he had the DRS. He had a much bigger overspeed than J-Luke, so it was really all about who had the tyre top speed, and it was the Slenderman got a much better exit. Those medium tyres very much going. I don't know how Casper's doing, by the way, on those 22-lap-old tyres. He is got an issue, though, Jess. And now I'm not sure if you've noticed what I've noticed with the red flashing light, but I'd be a little bit concerned right now if I was your race leader, because that normally is trouble when you have a red flashy light with, 6 corners to go.
Yes, and I think Risky has the same problem if you go on board. If you go on board with him, and he's had the red flashing light earlier. So tradition dictates that he's going to run out of fuel, Risky, towards I think one of the back straights. But I think Casper has a bit more time, so we'll see. As I'm just trying to see if he's still going the same speed. So I think he'll just about be okay. Slowing down. He's slowing down. He's going to first gear, but we'll see if he can make it. I think with the gap, he's just about okay, Evil. He's just about okay to get to the end. That was a bit close for comfort there. Casper had a mare last week. He's running out of fuel on the line. He's running out of fuel on the line, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's won the race. He's won the race. He's got the gap he needed to, and I'm glad that we didn't curse him this week. I'm so relieved about that. He was at the back at one point in the safety car. So good recovery to win the race for him. Slenderman gets P2. Jada gets P3. Ryan Berry, another good race for him. He likes his 4th place, doesn't he? In 4th. And we got Flexi that's recovered to 5th. And then we're starting to see the penalties come to play with Tony and Tony. I don't think that's going to make too much difference because Tony P is 6.4 seconds ahead of Tony 7765. Tony is Cliffy, by the way. And Risky getting his first point of the season. Same with Matt Ryan as well. Matt Ryan has been spinning less this race, so he's doing a great job there. I don't think he's going to get past Risky in the final corner, but he may go for an adventurous trip to the wall, but he does not. And now we got the two Apataris of Lee and Mike. And then Deck, even though he disconnected and rejoined, he managed to get past Ahmed on that final lap, and he got the final points. We're just waiting for Mike to cross the line, and that, Evil, is your first race at VSL commentating. What do you think of that?
Well, it was a lot of drama, a lot of carnage, and I tell you what, it was a first corner melee to a victory for Casper. So he's righted the wrongs of turn number 1 by doing a very bold strategy. He went on the wets during the safety car, came back in, went on the slicks, and that has proved to be, I think, his biggest and most favourite thing he's ever done so far. So the Ferrari driver, out of all of it, for doing, I think it was the 4th stop in the end for him, has won here in the beautiful Chinese Grand Prix from the Alfa Romeo, and then, of course, the Aston Martin in 3rd position as well. But I'll let you do the official rundown, Jess.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Casper made 2 stops. He didn't make quite full. Newgarden made full stops. Casper made 2 stops, but it just shows to Casper, even if you do spin early on in the race, you do not give up. I think that's come of tradition here in VSL. Remember, Matter spun on lap 1, 2, maybe, and then he went on to win the race. Nothing. It was more dominant victory for Casper this week. For Matter, it was kind of unexpected last week. But I have to say, I'm looking at the chat now on Twitter. Even last week's race winner is happy with Casper's performance. So we got Casper, Slenderman, J-Luke, Ryan Berry, Flexi, the 2 Tonys in 6th and 7th, Risky, Matt Ryan, Lee, Mike and Deck are your final point scorers. Ahmed and Newgarden are your final finishers, and your retirements are, there's only 4 of them, Newgarden, George, Speed Knighton, and Matter. So we've got 2 different race winners so far in VSL F1 for Season 8. I don't know what that does to the championship, but with Matter not scoring any points, Casper is going to be ahead of Matter in the championship. I'm almost certain of it. I don't know what that does to everybody else. So we'll find out pretty much next week once we get the standing up. Don't forget these standings are all provisional because the stewards will be looking at some reports potentially as well. We were expecting reports last week, but we didn't get any. So, but we will see as well. Evil, who is your driver of the day? There's quite a few to pick out from. Obviously, we don't have to pick one formally, but I just want to ask you that question.
I think you've got to give it to Casper there from that mistake in qualifying where he could have gotten pole, from getting tipped round on that number 1 to coming through the field for all the drama he had, of course, in that race, to hold it and to win that race himself. That was a phenomenal driver. Shout, you have to say, to Flexi, of course. Unfortunately, he ended up going off later on in the race, but he did a beautiful defense as well and a beautiful battle. So I'd say both of the Ferrari drivers, to me, are my driver pairing, well, I suppose team of the day.
Yes, exactly. So I will get the calendar up then to tell you what the next race is in just under a week's time. It is a secure international circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix, which I absolutely love commentating on this game because of the amount of battles that we have. Just as the real life drivers are heading to Bahrain this week. So we get double the Bahrain action. We get Bahrain action in real life over the weekend. And then on next Wednesday, we got Bahrain in VSL as well. So quick reminder to check out our socials. We are at VSL F1. No, at VSL_F1 on Twitter. Also on YouTube as well. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell if you're new. And hit the thumbs up button as well. Also, you can follow us on social media. My Twitter is JessGames95. Evil, plug your Twitter if you please.
My Twitter is Liam New Media. I mean, you can follow it if you want. I post random things, though. And normally red pandas. If you like red pandas, follow me. There's a lot of them I post. But yeah, I'll let you finish it off, Jess.
Yes, so we're going to wrap up the stream then, so make sure you join us 1 week time, one week from today for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I've been JessGames95, Evil's been Evil Dragon 99, or even Evil Dragon XXL used to be until Sony banned that name. But anyway, have a good rest of your week. We will see you next time. Goodbye.